Today I'm going to show you how to use the break apart method in division. This might be simpler because you actually never divide in the break apart method for division. So really for the rest of your life you never ever have to divide again if you don't want to. So we're going to take the number 225 and we're going to divide it by 5. But as I said, we're not really ever going to divide. What you do is you draw this long line right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves, okay, 5 times what is going to get me close to 225? Okay? And I always like to use the number 10 to start out with. 10 is a good number for me to kind of get my base. The reason is because I know 5 times 10 equals 50. So from there, I now know I can subtract and get my answer. So I have 5 minus 0 equals 5. 2 minus 5 can't do that because I'm subtracting here. That means I need to borrow, make that a 1. This becomes now a 12. So now 12 minus 5 equals 7. And then you have the 1. Now, you might ask yourself, well, you know what? I know I can probably do more than 10 this time. I know that, 5 times 10 was 50, and that didn't take a whole lot away. So now what if I do like 5 times maybe 20? Okay. Now I knew 5 times 10 was 50, so I know that 5 times 20 is going to be 100. That makes it a lot easier. So the bigger numbers you can use in this category, the better it is for you. Now I know that's pretty easy. We can just subtract 75 from there. Now from this, you can say, oh, well, I know I can use another 10 because I know that 50 works again. Subtract that out, we know we'll get 25. Oh, and that's easy because we know now that 5 times 5 gets us 25. And I didn't divide at all, and now what I got to do is add that up. So 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 10 is 40, 45. So I know that my answer is 4. Now that works in a break apart method, and there were no remainders left. And that's a good way to do it because you never ever have to divide. Okay? So that's an easier way to do it that way. So let's do another one where we're going to use a remainder. So let's take the number 144 and divide that by 5 again. Now we know 5 does not go into 144 because of divisibility, because that means that 4 would either have to be a 5 or a 0. So we're going to do the same thing. And we now, since we did the previous problem, we can say, well, I know that 5 times 20 is 100. And again, all I'm doing is I'm multiplying. I'm not really dividing. So from there, I know I get 44. Okay. So you might say, well, I don't know how many times 5 goes into 44, but I know that 5 times 5 equals 25. And what we're doing is just kind of breaking apart the number to see what we have left. So we know that 4 minus 5, that doesn't work. You get a borrow over here, makes that a 9, right? And then 3 minus 2 equals 1. So you might say, well, 5 times what equals 19? Well, we know 5 times nothing equals 19. But I do know that 5 times 3 gets us close. 5 times 3 equals 15, which would get us a remainder of 4. So that means our answer here is 28 with a remainder of 4. And that is a way that you can use the break apart method to do division.